I'm Steve Droke. Like I said, I'm from Hornersville, Missouri. I finished high school, went to the University of Memphis, got a degree in accounting. But I knew the whole time I was going to go back home and farm. So I did not have the dilemma that many of my children did of what they were going to do. I was going to go farm. So I went back in 1980 and started farming. Of course, interest was 20%, and we had a drought, and we didn't even make enough crop to pay the interest back. I tell them today, I paid a lot of 20, 18, 16% interest, a lot of 14. These young kids don't understand that. You know, we've got these low interest rates. They don't understand us paying 14% interest for a crop loan back in the 80s. So I raised 4 children, put them all through college, got them all educated. My wife never had a job other than take care of the home. I did it all on 1,000 acres. Today I'm farming 3,000 acres and I find it hard to buy groceries. You know, times have changed. One of my landlords said, why have the costs come up? I said, well, one of the first tractors I bought, I gave $25,000 for it. And I said, I remember buying a 782 for $42,000. Now then, we all know what a new tractor, the things my landlord share in haven't changed. You know, fertilizer and all, they share their part, but our equipment costs, so we're all in the same dilemma. But I want to talk to you about zero tolerance. We've been cotton. Until 15, I was 100% cotton with about 150 acres of watermelons. I'm a cotton farmer. But last year I had to plant 1,000 acres of grain just because economics, if it didn't make 1,250 on a 5-year average, I couldn't plant cotton on it because I feel like it takes me 1,250 pounds and 75 cents to make a little money, and that's pretty true. So I switched off and planted 1,000 acres of grain. But on our, so we've had resistant weeds for 10, 15 years now. And the most important part is your timing. I say it's timing, timing, and timing. If you wait till you see the weeds from your truck window, you waited too late. You're not going to control them. So we'll start off in the fall after we harvest. That's a Bingham Brothers one-pass plow. And we use an air seeder and we'll blow weed in our middles. If you see, that's the cotton stalks on the right. That plow will go through. We've eliminated the stalk cutter. And we've got that one and a KBH plow that doesn't rip. That's a ripper. It's subsoiling, putting the stalks under, forming the bed, and I'm blowing air seeding weed in the middles. The wheat started when we got Roundup Ready cotton, because we have wind erosion. You can see how flat we are. I mean, we are pretty well flat, and we can be no sand blowing, get a hard thunderstorm, and 30 minutes later it'll be water in the middle, and the sand will just cut your crop away. So we started planting wheat years ago to protect our seedlings. And then we found that it has another use for these resistant weeds. So if we get a good cover crop in the middle, that's a real good competition for all the weeds that want to try and come up. So the better crop you can get in and get it planted in the fall and get your wheat going, it'll help you with your resistant weeds. I've never left my yellow. A lot of people left their yellow. I've never left my yellow. If I've got a good stand in the middle, I may put 1.5 pints and I'll spray from wheat to wheat. If I don't have much wheat in the middles, I'll open up the valves. All my do-alls, I've got 4 valves on there. I can make it broadcast or I can shut it down and band. If I don't have much wheat, I'll put up to 2.5 broadcast and incorporate it in, or I can shut it down if I've got a heavy wheat crop and just spray on top of the bed. Then we'll come in with our, don't miss this treatment right here. I like the blended product that's got the 2,4-D in the dicamba, like the Latigo, and rather than just straight dicamba or straight 2,4-D, we always like 7/10 of an ounce first shot, 2 ounces of Valor. Of course, you need, if you're going on top of your beds, you need 30 days or an inch of rain, you know, to be able to plant your cotton in there. But you can see our weed in the middles there, and we just clean out the top with our do-alls and make a nice smooth seed surface. And then when we get a rain, we plant on a stale bed. And I also add 12 ounces of grounded that helps keep those chemicals in the top couple of inches of profile. I do prefer a ground rig, but don't hesitate to put an airplane out there. Last spring, it was 1st April, I still had about 1,000 acres that wasn't sprayed and had water in the middles, and watermelons were coming in the next week, because we have watermelons, peanuts, potatoes, cantaloupes, everything in our area. So we have a lot of sensitive crops to 2,4-D and dicamba. I put the airplane out there on about 800 acres, and I forgot 140. And I got up there and got the, oh my gosh, I forgot to spray that one. It was a nightmare. I should have taken a picture of it, but I didn't. Then we pull in with our planters anytime from the 25th, 26th of April, whenever the weather's right. You know, most times it's around the 1st of May. And we'll plant, put whatever in the furrow, and then we come right behind the planter with a quarter warrant, half pound of Carter in, cut worm material if we need it, and ground it again, and 32 ounces of Roundup. Now, Liberty Link, I have not been able to make Liberty cotton yield for me, so I'm still on a Roundup program. But we used to do 2 shots of warrant at 1.5 quarts, but we changed that to 3 shots. And we'll do 1 shot right behind the planter. If I can get it out before my cotton comes up, put the carder in. If my cotton comes up, of course, I have to eliminate the carder in. But I've gone back to carder in. Of course, we used to use up to 1 pound on a band years ago, but I found that a 1/2 pound broadcast will get some weeds, and it really can't tell that it hurts your cotton with just a 1/2 pound. 2 weeks later, we'll come back again, and we try to layer that in. We got our Valerie out there, gives us about 30 days. We try to get planted, lay out a layer of warrant, get it activated.
What's that grounded?
Pardon me?
What's the grounded thing?
Grounded is a product from Helena that will help keep your chemical in the top 2 inches of soil. Keeps if you get heavy rains, your active ingredient won't wash down into the soil, especially in the sandier soils like we have. And it helps maintain it. If you've never seen it, you should let them do the little demonstration with Treflin that they do and see how the chemical will move through the soil. And I'm pretty sold on it with certain products. Now, I don't like to put it out with or without, depending on the weather and how sick or what my cotton is, I may take the grounded out. If I've got a lot of sick cotton, I might leave the grounded out. But if everything's good and healthy, I'll go ahead and put it in.
Steve, what if you have weeds up, some big weeds when you plant cotton? What's going to kill those? The Cotoran or the?
Well, you got to start clean, stay clean. That's where you need that spring 2,4-D and dicamba shot. You need to know when to get that out there. Of course, you're in a warmer climate. You're in a lot warmer climate than I am. So you may be looking at a fall shot after sometimes in the fall to take care of stuff, the flush that comes up, and then again in the spring. See, we're cold enough in Missouri that we don't really have to do the fall treatment. We've all looked at it. Some of us have done a little bit of it, but we've been able to get by without the fall treatment. After we get bedded up and without putting something out in the fall.
So the Valor's going out like a month before planting, something like that.
Anywhere from the middle of March to, depending. We like for it to warm up good and get some warm temperatures and have enough warm days so things can germinate a little bit. But really, the pigweeds and things not going to start germinating until about the time your cotton's going to germinate. I don't know what temperature does it take to germinate pigweed.
I heard somebody say 60 degrees this morning was kind of the
Okay, so there you're right there with your cotton. So they're going to come then. And then, if you've got that, then before you plant, you probably need, if you can do gramoxone, put a hooded sprayer out there. And that's been done. If you got a bad spot, then you just need don't take your high boy out there. Just spray gramoxone, but change over to gramoxone, put your hooded sprayer out there and burn it down. And I've done that before, where I had some straight no-till. I had the little mare's tail and little stuff coming up, and I was straight no-tilling it. So I took gramoxone and a pound of Treflin and some carder in and went right across there and cleaned it up. Then I fell in there and planted it. Because you got to get that stuff when it's small. You think you're spraying and you don't think you got anything out there. Well, that's when you want to be spraying. Because if you wait till you see them, you get to walking and looking, and you'll see those little things just busting the ground. You get to walking down through looking at your soil. You know your farms. You know where your weeds are. So you start clean and you try and stay clean. And don't wait. If it's been 18 days and you got a good chance of a rain coming, put your spray rig out there. Lay that warrant down. Get it activated. If you put it out and it's been 5 days and you haven't got a rain, turn your pivot on. Get it activated. Within reason. So then we'll come back on the third trip 2 weeks later again and do the same thing. And this is when we start getting into, this is somewhere around Pinhead Square, and this is where we start getting into our plant road program. My scout argued with me for years. Why do you do that? Back when we were, before Roundup Ready cotton and stuff, we're hooding, and I'm going across. My hoods are set up to spray, direct to spray under the row, another tank for in the middle, and another tank on them to go over the top. So I can put a Pix and boron, and used to spray Blade X on the shoulder and Direx in the middle, Which I grew up with dinitro and Blade X and arsenic acid. And my uncle had a goose farm. Treflin put him out of business because he used to run geese to take care of the grass, and he made a killing. That came out with Treflin in the '60s, and he lost the goose farm.
So this application right here, forgive me if I missed something, but this is 2 weeks after the first.
2 weeks apart. I'll plant and spray right behind
This
the
is your
plant.
second post application.
Right. Then 2 weeks later, another application, then 2 weeks later. They say you can get, pardon me?
222.
Yep. They say you can get, I forget what warrant is supposed to lay out there, but you don't want to wait till you get to the end and it's wearing out. You want to get a new application out there. If you overlap a week, then you've got it doubled up there and you've got another application and get it activated.
So you're just stacking it up, so as it plays out, it kicks back in.
Yeah, as it plays out, it kicks back
You're
in.
doing 2 paints every time.
Yep.
But you put a quart out of the plant.
Pardon me?
You put a quart out of that plant.
A quart?
And so you're at about pinhead here.
Yeah. I will go up, depending on weather and whatnot, I will go up to 3. We used to do 2 applications at a quart of paint. And that, you know, depending on weather, depending on what you got going on, whether you want to up that a little bit, we found that at a quart, we don't damage our cotton as much as we do with a quart of paint too. And then if you've got escapes, I always like to hook up my hoods. A lot of people sold their hoods and got rid of them when, oh, we're never going to have to hood cotton again. Guess what? I started to bring my Kaiser blade. We'd gone full circle. I had a Kaiser blade back in the 80s that I carried in my truck. And I was going to go out there and get it and say we've gone full circle. We're back to cleaning up our weeds with a Kaiser blade. But a half pound of Direx, and you can put whatever you want with it, or mops on, or I usually just run Direx on the shoulder and then put picks or insecticide over the top. But on that third treatment, I didn't finish. I put imidacloprid in because it's cheap, and I want to get some imidacloprid working in my cotton at Pinhead Square. And I've seen this treatment right here buy me a couple of weeks before I'd have to go back and spray plant bugs.
You said if needed, is there a threshold? Do you have a threshold on that?
This is not going from anything my scout said. If I've got a threshold, I'm going to spray, but if I don't have a threshold, I'm still going to spray. I'm going to do that on every acre,
So if needed,
regardless of what he says.
if needed means that you're gonna do it.
I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I've been doing it since the boll weevil days. I've been doing Pinhead since the boll weevil days. And he said, why are you doing it? I hadn't scouted yet. And I said, but I'm going. You know, fuel got so high, labor's so high. You're running the machinery across the field. I'm running my hood through there, and I got the capability to band it right there. When I get away from that hood, then I got to go to that high boy and go broadcast straight. So I just band it, you know, half the money.
Are you putting 2 ounces of imidacloprid on a band?
No, it'd be broadcast.
That's a broadcast rate.
But sometimes I'll bump it up to 4 because the imidacloprid has gotten so cheap. It's cheap, you know, so put it out there, get it to working in that plant.
You're not seeing a whole lot of burn from that warrant?
No. No, there's people that have, you know, occasionally you'll have one field show a little burn. There's lots of things that can cause that, you know. But as a rule, I had some neighbors that quit using it because they said it burned. Well, what else they got? I mean, all right, if you're going to quit using warrant, you're going to park your highway, you're going to get your hoods back out because you don't, what else can you spray over the top? Now, as soon as that first treatment, and you'll see it's kind of hard to see in there, but as soon as we kill all wheat, I've got a group of Hispanics that have been working for me probably 10 or 12 years. I've got a group of ladies that plants my watermelons, and these people help plant my watermelons, and then they start. And they don't walk every row. They know my farms, they know where every field is, and they know to drive across the turn row, walk, say, okay, there it is. And they've been on my farms long enough. They do my big weeding, they work for me from the time I plant till I start defoliating. And they just go to farm, and I'll tell them, they've learned where the bad spots are. They know how to kill them. They pull them up, take care of the roots, and they won't take a 160-acre field and walk it row to row every time. We got to go over this corner and clean that up, and then we got that spot out in the middle, and then, oh, there's one down there, and then when they get to that one down there, they'll do about a 20 or 40, 30-foot search around that one, you know, making sure there's not another one. But these 4 people work for me all summer long, 3,000 acres. It cost me $28,000 last year in 15 for whole hands, which is a little over $9 an acre. That's as cheap as you're going to get it done. And I've seen those crews come in and say they're going to clean it up, and they go out there. 2 weeks later, everything's right back. I've got good, trusted people. I pay them well, and they know how to kill the weed. They'll dig it up, turn it upside down, lay it on top of the crop, drag it out the end. And I'm very fortunate. I don't know what I'll do if I lose them. But that's how you keep your fields clean. Trusted whole hands. There's a little picture I just threw in where we use pink wrap to support breast cancer awareness. That's a big thing in our part of the world because a little girl died with breast cancer and her brother's actually a farmer. And his family came up with that pink wrap. So it's caught on, I don't know if it's caught on very far down south, but. And if you'll keep it clean, you're still going to have, even when you do zero tolerance, you're still going to have an escape. But I grant you, you let them go, they can take over. That farm, you let them go for a couple of years and they'll have it completely taken over. And some guys did that, but Southeast Missouri finally got on the bandwagon. Everybody got on the bandwagon, and pretty much everybody takes care of their. Because Dunklin County is historically one of the top 10 counties in the United States producing cotton. They're either ranked 9th to 11th because everybody's all cotton, and we're right up in the top 10 with cotton per square mile, bales per square mile. Mississippi County right south of us, so we've just gotten back in the grain business in the last 5 years, but we're pretty much a cotton county. So we had to, you either start cleaning, you don't have any choice. You got to spend the money and keep it clean or you're going to lose your land. And we see with all the resistance coming in the beans and everything that's coming, how long can we keep it clean?
What are you doing here for thrips?
For thrips?
Yeah, on the front end.
Well, besides what we put in the furrow, and then the scouts, if they come in with whatever the scout recommends, you know.
Okay.
If he wants orthene or if he wants, what's that high dollar one that we,
Radiant.
for the west, yeah, the radiant for the western flower thrip. And we got one scout, that's all he wants to use because he's, well, I don't know, you just supposed to put it out there. But you know, we talk about $10 an acre. He said, yeah, you put orthene out last year, and I told you, he keep bringing that up on one field, but this field had other issues. He said, yeah, you sprayed orthene instead of radiant. And I said, well, nobody had it. And sometimes it depends on the, you know, the first 40 days, I'm a believer in the first 40 days. The first 40 days, last spring was wet going on. A neighbor of mine who's Charles Parker, many of you know Charles, he's always said, you know, Steve, if it rains, every time we have a chance of rain, we'll never get a crop in. But I called him up middle of April last year and I said, you know your old saying? He said, yeah. I said, you're right. I mean, we just barely got a crop in. It just barely got dry, and we had to hustle. I had, for the first time in 36 years, prevented planting on a cotton farm because I couldn't get it planted. It was too wet. And we've gotten away. We forgot why, in our area, May 15th was kind of a drop-dead date on planting cotton. Now, Daughter Cotton made us change our thoughts. Folks, we don't have Daughter Cotton anymore, and we better fall back to what we know. I've gotten away. I'm planting a variety that I know is going to yield. I'm not experimenting a lot with things that are going to, that I don't know about, because I need to make a yield. And there's some folks planting cotton last week of May this year up in my area, and they got burnt. I mean, it just, 1 out of 10 years it might work, but you got to yield in our part of the world to make a living raising cotton.
Are you banning that thrips application too?
No, I'll spray it broadcast. I may go back to banding with these new. My thoughts are on this new dicamba cotton and this new. We're going to go back to old technology. Remember the old chem plows where we used to. I don't know how many of you remember arsenic acid, but the old chem plows, we stripped them down, ran in the middle, and had spray tips on the back, and we were spraying arsenic acid and stuff in the middle of the cotton, just running through there spraying. Well, I've got no chem plow. I'm digging it out and rigging it up so when this dicamba and 2,4-D cotton comes out, I can take that chem plow, put 3 tips on the back, and I can spray shoulder to shoulder, down the middle, put the rig on the ground, have a gauge wheel in every middle, and then rig up a tip over the top of the row where I can band. So, because we have a lot of sensitive crops that if we get out there with a high boy, it could get real ugly real fast. In fact, it did. We had some guys that went off label. And let me tell you that story. They went off label. First they got disputed among themselves, and they got the state plant board involved. And before it was all said and done, the EPA was in southeast Missouri and northeast Arkansas last year driving around looking at farms. And when they come to your place, they're not really worried about why you got off label. They won't know where your fuel containment is. How long's that fertilizer tank been sitting there? Are your guys got, buddy, they start looking at everything. So, you know, each bag of seed had that little pink label on it that says do not spray. But we had some guys thought they were smarter than everybody else, and they went out there and sprayed. They damaged other people's crop. So we're going to have to be careful with the new technology. Any more questions on weeding, Joe? I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think that's all of them. We said we'd talk about lots of things. Plant bugs is kind of like playing blackjack. You never know if you're going to win or lose. Let's see what that is. Okay. Okay. There you go. There's how to save money on plant bugs. 2005 was the last year of our boll weevil program. I had a neighbor, pretty good farmer. Thought he was smarter than this. We got BT cotton. We're not fighting worms anymore. We got BT2. We're not having trouble with any worms anymore. Boll weevil program's over. We're not fighting weevils anymore. He fires his scout and says, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to plant it. Who all remembers fighting boll weevil? Who doesn't? Who's never fought a boll weevil? Okay. You older guys, we got to educate this younger bunch because they're not going to realize. My son never fought a boll weevil, probably never seen one. They're going to, time's passing this referendum, they're not going, oh, we don't need that. But those of us remember fighting a boll weevil. We're fighting the boll weevil and worms. We weren't worried about plant bugs. So if you want to save money on plant bug control, you can save your insecticides, you can save your defoliation, and you can save your harvest expenses, and you can produce a cheap crop. You don't even have to harvest it. Just there it is. But if you take care of business, you can produce a crop. And on our plant bugs, I've done every combination. You know, they say transform back to back and keep you out for 2 weeks. Like crap. I was playing transform, bifinger. You back to back, you do one transform treatment, don't go back for 3 weeks. They move so much. You got so many beans around anymore, you got corn around. They're there one day, you miss an application because of weather, you don't get it sprayed, the scout comes around next week, turns his report in, that field doesn't need spraying. Well, last week it needed spraying, you never got to it, it doesn't need spraying this week. So, you know, when it gets backed up, everybody does the ground, we get big rain, the planes get so backed up, they call in 2 or 3 planes, but they get behind 4 or 5 days and you get cloudy weather and rain. Sometimes you just cannot get the material out. Get another scouting report, well, take that one off the list. You know, so I don't know. And our thresholds, my scout's a good scout. He's been with me for 25 years. In fact, there were some folks that used him. They were talking in a coffee shop one day, kind of second guessing him. But, you know, I don't think he knows what he's doing. You know, that's, you know how farmers are. We never don't want to do it. Oh, there's that scout again. He just won't spend money, blah, blah, blah. And he turned around and looked at me and said, you always make good cotton. Always make good yield. Said, who's your scout? And it was that fella. I said, it's him. They just all kind of, oh. You know, like, I said, yeah, he's been with me for 25 years. I said, his daddy's got a scouty cotton for me. So with that, I just always wanted to be a farmer.